The book is called, or entitled, Madison College, The First 50 Years. It's written by Professor Raymond C. Dingledine, Jr., you've heard the name, and published by the university in 1959, which incidentally is the year I was born. It's an old book. It's worth mentioning that although the founding of the JMU Alumni Association took place in June of 1911, after graduation of the first class, the official inductions into the association did not take place until 1 year later. And so the passage I'm about to read describes our first senior induction ceremony held 103 years ago in 1912. Members would make speeches about the accomplishments of students during their time at what was then called the State Normal School for Women. The banquet did not begin until 10 p.m. and lasted as late as 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. So, as they did over a century ago, we've gathered to celebrate your graduation and induction into the JMU alumni body. Education is a lifelong commitment. When you decided to come to JMU, it was a decision to join the JMU family. Although you will be leaving this beautiful campus, the special relationship you have developed with James Madison University remains with you. And with that in mind, and as I welcome you to the Alumni Association, I offer a challenge, as I must. Stay connected with JMU. Link up with the alumni chapter where you live. Come back to campus regularly. Stay involved with those groups and organizations that you were a part of as a student. Be a mentor. We need you. Be an advocate. And most important, continue to be the change. The Alumni Association is here to help you develop a lifelong relationship with JMU. Visit the Alumni Association website or speak with alumni relations staff concerning information on how you can help shape the future of your alma mater. Make a financial gift, regardless of the amount. I've had a chance to attend a ton of JMU events, and I'm always proud to see those green donor ribbons and those Go Mad buttons, especially on the name tags of young alumni and students. And it seems like every year there's more and more. Those who donate know of the great satisfaction that comes from giving and creating positive change. Your education, as you will soon learn, has laid the foundation for your success. Now it's up to you to use your knowledge, skills, and talents to build on that foundation. But it's also up to you to pave the way for the next wave of JMU students. I promise you, as we speak, there's a freshman enrolling in Madison this very minute that will remind you of yourself. That class of 2019 student needs you as a mentor, as an advocate for their cause, and as a donor. So too will students of the classes of 2019, 2029, and 2039 for that matter. In many ways, you hold the keys to Madison's future success. That success will be linked to the university's reputation and, most importantly, to the reputation of your degree. It is my hope that you will continue to foster your relationship with JMU and remain an active member of the university. As hopefully you've heard from the first time you stepped on the campus, you are Dukes from day one, and you are alumni for life. And because of that, your Madison experience can truly last forever. At this time, I'd like to ask Lauren Holder, President of the Senior Class Council, to come up and say a few words about your time together here.
Good evening, and welcome to the class of 1965, the class of 2015, JMU friends, administrators, and faculty. It is an honor to be able to stand in front of you tonight to speak. The importance of this moment should not go underappreciated. It is tonight that we transition from our undergraduate role that we have come to know and love over the last 4 years into our role as alumni and all the rights and responsibilities therein. But for many of us, myself included, we are digging our heels in these last few weeks and trying to soak in every last that we can. Our last E-Hall brunch, our last quad day, our last dining dollar, though I know many of you are already at the $0 amount. Our last all-nighter, our last relay for life, our last end-of-the-year banquet, and whichever items are still left on your version of the JMU bucket list. We focused so much in these last few weeks on our lasts. I'm sure the class of 1965 still remembers theirs. But I ask you all to take some time tonight and remember your firsts. Do you remember your first day at JMU? Earthquake. The first moment when your parents or your loved ones drove away, leaving you with your perfectly Pinterested dorm room and a heavy feeling of, whoa, this is happening. Do you remember your first friend at JMU? For many of us, it was our roommate, or perhaps a friendly face in your 8 a.m. GCOM class that you met that first week. Though, if you found a friendly face at an 8 a.m. that week, props to you. Because none of us quite understood the importance of caffeine yet. Do you remember your first big exam? We thought AP tests in high school were the hardest thing we would ever encounter, but wow, were we wrong. They sneak up on you. The first time I realized your professor doesn't have to care that you have 3 tests, a speech, and a project due all on the same day was my first bitter taste of real adulthood. Do you remember your first free t-shirt? I do. Yes, for many of us, that was the infamous fight song t-shirt that we received at the pep rally during 1787 orientation. I still have mine. So began our obsession with these pieces of fabric that would lead so many to become hoarders over the next 4 years. It didn't matter what it said, we just had to have it. And if we could get it in multiple sizes, that was like hitting the lottery. These firsts are etched into your memory and in mine. They are standout moments that happened to us early on in our undergraduate careers. But the first didn't stop after our first year. Do you remember your first apartment? The first time you ran out of toilet paper and realized there was no mother or housekeeper to keep you well stocked. The first time your electricity bill went through the roof. The first time you made a 2 a.m. grocery run when you learned that, by some miracle, Martin's was open for 24 hours. Do you remember your first job or grad school application? Trying to wait as long as humanly possible before the reality that we had to find our next step truly set in. Do you remember your first goodbye? At the same time as these firsts, our last began to set in. The ominous G word is approaching, and I apologize for not helping much with the reminders of 100, 50, 25, and 10 days to graduation hashtags. But what I want you all to take away tonight is that there are a plethora of firsts still ahead of us. I'm sure the class of 1965 remembers sitting in front of you today can tell you that firsthand as well. How about our first tailgate or homecoming as alumni, where all of our friends who have spread out across the world come together over burnt hamburgers and beer? How about our first wedding invitation or baby announcement from our college friends? Or the first time we experience an incredible hardship and our phone call, the first one, is to our college best friend. Or the first time we force our kids into a future JMU Duke t-shirt. How about our first reunion? That'll be a trip. I expect to see all of you there. Class of 2015, enjoy your last. But remember your firsts and recognize that there are still so many to come. Thank you for these past 4 years and for the next 50. Most importantly, thank you for the firsts, the lasts, and everything in between. At this time, I'd like to invite Allie Bird, Executive Member of Student Alumni Association, to come up and say a few words.